Kaan had always loved the warmth of Istanbul, the bustling streets, the smell of street food, and the rich history that hummed in every corner. But everything changed the moment he saw Ayu. She was standing on the balcony of a cafe on the edge of the Bosphorus, her dark hair blowing gently in the wind, her eyes focused on the vast, shimmering water. It was like she was part of the city yet completely apart from it. Kaan wasn't one to believe in love at first sight, but something in her serene beauty struck him. A mutual friend introduced them that night, and Ayu's smile lit up the room. She was in Istanbul on an exchange program, studying literature, her eyes full of curiosity and wonder for the city that was so different from her home in Bali. "I never thought I'd fall in love with a city," she said softly, gazing at the Bosphorus again. "But Istanbul, it feels like a heartbeat, doesn't it?" Kaan smiled, his heart thumping in a way he couldn't explain. "Istanbul has a way of making you feel like you belong, even when you're far from home." And in that moment, Kaan knew his life had changed forever. Days turned into weeks, and Kaan and Ayu's bond grew stronger. They explored the streets of Istanbul together, learning each other's languages, sharing stories of their childhoods, and teaching each other the things that shaped their worlds. Kaan introduced Ayu to the beauty of Turkish coffee and the magic of Turkish poetry, while Ayu taught him the rhythm of Indonesian gamelan music and the art of batik. They bonded over shared laughter, their worlds beginning to intertwine in the most beautiful way. But even in the midst of their growing connection, there were tensions they couldn't ignore. Ayu's family had strong cultural values, and in their eyes, her moving to another country to be with someone, especially a Turkish man, was something they couldn't easily accept. "What will your family think?" Kaan asked one evening, his tone soft but filled with uncertainty. Ayu paused, her fingers tracing the rim of her coffee cup. "I haven't told them yet. They're conservative. They expect me to marry someone from Bali. Someone who understands our traditions, our culture. And you, Kaan, you're not like them." Kaan's heart sank, but he reached across the table, gently taking her hand. "I don't want to change you, Ayu. I just want to be with you. But if you ever feel like you have to choose, I'll understand." Ayu's eyes softened, tears threatening to spill. "I don't want to choose. But sometimes love feels like a battle between who I am and who I could be with you." The more Kaan and Ayu tried to navigate their love, the more they realized how much distance lay between them, not just geographically, but in the expectations their families had set for them. Ayu's family arranged a meeting with a man from Bali, a childhood friend who had been waiting to marry her. The pressure on Ayu was unbearable. Kaan couldn't ignore the pain in her eyes. The laughter they shared seemed more forced, and the tender moments felt fleeting. One day, Ayu told him, "I need some time to think. My family, they won't understand. And I don't want to disappoint them." Kaan felt his heart break. "I understand. Take your time, Ayu. But don't forget, whatever you choose, you are not alone." They parted that day, unsure of what the future held. For the first time, the distance between their worlds felt impossible. Weeks passed without a word from Ayu. Kaan focused on his work, but his mind was never far from her. The emptiness in his heart grew, and the streets of Istanbul no longer felt like home without her presence beside him. And then one evening, Kaan received a message from Ayu. "I'm in Bali." His heart raced. She was back home. Was this goodbye? Or was there something more? He packed his things without hesitation, boarding a flight to Bali. The journey was long, but when he arrived at Ayu's family home, there was no sign of her. He found her at the beach, standing in the place where they had first met. She was barefoot, gazing at the ocean, her face reflecting the same mix of sadness and longing Kaan felt in his chest. "I thought I lost you forever," Kaan said, stepping closer. Ayu turned, her tears mingling with the salty breeze. "I've been thinking about us, Kaan. About what you said. And about my family, my future. And I realized something." "What?" he asked, his heart in his throat. "I realized I don't want to live a life dictated by expectations. I want to choose my own path, and that path, Kaan, leads to you." Kaan's heart soared. "Ayu, are you sure?" She nodded, stepping into his arms. "I'm sure. Our love is stronger than anything else." It wasn't easy. Ayu's family did not approve of her decision, and there were many difficult conversations ahead. But Ayu and Kaan faced them together, learning to bridge their cultural differences and create a life that was uniquely theirs. Kaan moved to Bali, where he learned the art of Balinese dance and the intricacies of Indonesian cuisine. Ayu, in turn, visited Istanbul to understand the depth of Turkish traditions and history. They taught each other the beauty of their respective worlds and built a life filled with love, respect, and compromise. Years later, Ayu and Kaan stood on the beach where they had confessed their love to each other for the first time. They were now married, and their families had come together to celebrate their union, no longer divided by culture, but strengthened by love. With the setting sun casting a golden glow across the ocean, Ayu took Kaan's hand. "I never thought love could feel like this. Like two worlds colliding and creating something beautiful." Kaan smiled, pulling her close. "Our love will always be a bridge, between Istanbul and Bali, between our hearts." And as they watched the sun dip below the horizon, they knew that no matter where life took them, their love would always guide them home.